Alright, today I'm going to do a quick video on what I carry in my bug out bag slash bushcraft bag. Now obviously, like any other bags, it changes regarding to do with seasons, to, you know, if I'm going hunting, depending on what I'm personally doing. But this is pretty much my primary bag. It's a Kelty. I've had it for about a month. I actually love this bag. I went from an Alice pack to an Expedition to an Alps Commander, back to the Alice pack, and then I finally got this. For the money for this, it was definitely worth it. And with all 4 bags that I've had in the past, I could have just got one of these, but I was trying to go on the cheaper route. So I'm going to take everything out of this and kind of go over what I have in my pack. I mean, obviously there's a lot of videos out there that has their own things in there, but hopefully there might be something in here that might give you an idea if you're starting out getting a bag together. Alright, thank you. Okay, and the first pocket would be kind of one of the pockets. First pockets, there's actually another one here. Basically what I'll have in there is I'll have my saw, my water purification kit, which I have not personally tried this one out yet, but soon. I'll have a solar pack with solar batteries, which I'm going to be ending up taking some of the batteries out. I'm not going to run with so many batteries. And then of course I have my notepad and a pencil, and I'm going to also have a black Sharpie in there. Okay, now with the top 2 pockets up here, usually I'll have my rain gear, which I actually switched over from a poncho to a 2-piece, just for the simple fact of with the ponchos it only comes down to, just slightly below your knees, maybe a little bit longer depending on your height. So I was wanting to go with more fully dry, I guess is the way to put it. Of course, I got a whole roll of ass wipe. That I'll just pound down, step down, flatten it out. I'll have my med kit, which is pretty much a standard med kit. It's not, I took out the stuff what Johnson & Johnson had in there. I have my own stuff in there, my own type of band-aids, Neosporin, you name it. A Citra kit. And then I'll have my fire kit, which I'll have, let's see here, I got lighter, matches, striker rod, and then some fat wood, some of those fire straws. I did a video on that, which those work great. Also with the last video I did, I actually used one of the fire straws out there in the wetlands and had no problems getting a fire going. Okay, the things that go into my larger pack. Basically how I'm going to be doing this is I'm just going to kind of break it down. I'm not going to most likely not open everything, but I'll give a rough summary of it. Obviously it's my cook kit. I've got my penny stove with a screen for my GSI pot. I use heat for my penny stove, or sometimes I'll use rubbing alcohol, but I really like using the heat more. Obviously I'll have food. This time around is pretty much the Mountain House and some ramen noodles, some spices, and some oil. I also have a cup in here, and it also comes with these 2 containers which fits in there, which you can use one as a cup. I also have 2 bottles of water, and I'll have a stainless steel cup or bottle, which you've seen in videos already. This is how you can sterilize your water and everything. I painted this black with high temp paint, and that's pretty much it for my cook kit. Obviously I have a spork in there, and all this fits in there. Now it goes in the bag. The food I'll have in separate, and same with the heat. I don't keep the heat with anything food related. Most likely I'll have it in. I'll put it in one of the side pockets there, just in case if there's some spillage and I don't want to contaminate the food. Okay, here's some other items. First of all, I have a sew kit in here with heavy duty needles, and I forget what kind of line it is. My wife uses it for leather work in case my straps break or whatever, and some patches in there. Also a DC4 sharpener, which I highly recommend. These work really nice. And I have 3 little nails inside of there, so if I'm out in the field and I have to sharpen my knives, I can tack the nails into each corner, and then this way I can sharpen. Spare glasses, also with a glass repair kit. My personal hygiene, which is basically soap, bandana, hand sanitizer, toothbrush, toothpaste, clothes hangers, or I'm sorry, clothes clips, and a gun kit, basically everything to clean either one of my firearms. And I'll also have whatever firearm I'm running with, I'll have ammo for that, which it depends on my let's just call it the mission of the weekend or what have you. Also, I'll have a hunting kit and a fishing kit. Basically, there's yo-yo traps in here, which I highly recommend, and there's videos from Sigma Survival that he does several different videos on them. Highly recommend I have a couple of those. A slingshot, some snare wire, fishing line obviously, which you can use also for sewing, and some floats and hooks, and sinkers. I also have in there a shovel. It's a GI shovel. Only downfall is it's heavy, but it actually comes in handy mostly in the winter if you have to clear out snow or making a fire pit. I mean, yeah, you can use rocks and sticks to do all that, but I'm still kind of a firm believer with tools, and that comes in handy. Plus, with the GI, you can use it as an axe, a pick. So it has multiple purposes. So instead of me just carrying my axe around with like a small little shovel like I used to, I just have this, and so in the long run it's lighter. I also have my tarp set up with a hammock in there. I got a couple stakes in there, and I have all my lines that I specifically use for my tarp. And what I do is I'll take my ridge line and I'll keep it in one separate baggie, and all my other miscellaneous lines I'll keep in another baggie. So this way I won't get mixed up with which one's my ridge line and which one's not, because obviously my ridge line's longer, but once you hank it up it's pretty hard to tell. I also run with a ground tarp, which comes in handy when you're gathering sticks or when you put up your shelter to lay on the wet ground, which is nice and lightweight. Downfall is the bulkiness. But to be honest with you, with all this stuff inside of that bag there, I still have room. I also run with clothes. I'll usually have camo tops, battle shirt, and battle pants. I like the ATACs, or I'll have multicam in there, spare underclothes, spare socks, all that good stuff. Now on my person, I usually run with the BK7. I did a review on the SK5, the Blackbird. Wife usually uses that one. If she doesn't come up with me, I usually take that one. I'm also going to be repainting this one, and it'll be on my Facebook page. I run with the Mora knife for a neck knife. I always have my Springfield XD9 along with me. If I'm in the woods, pretty much everywhere I go, because I do have a permit for it, so I always have that with me. And I also run with a multi-tool on my belt, which I have on right now. I usually run that for an everyday carry too. And then I'll always have my little pocket knife along, which I like the Tainto blades. And that's, oh, and I'll also have knee pads, and I'll run with a shamag, even in the summer. The shamags, I was never a fan of them until when I actually tried them out. They work great for purifying water if you have to. I like to have it around my neck, and it kind of protects when you put the chest straps, when you buckle the chest straps. It gives you more padding because the buckles will usually kind of dig in a little bit. It's great to wipe off sweat, and actually kind of keeps you cool. You can get it wet. I mean, it has multi-purpose usage. If you're not familiar with them, there's some videos out on there, or else you can just search engine it. I highly recommend with those. I have several of them. I think I probably have about 5 different ones now. I just purchased this today. I'm going to use that for my hammock setup now. Usually we use paracord, and the paracord likes to stretch. I've watched a video, and I'm going to most likely be posting on my Facebook page, and that would be Bushcraft, Prepping and Survival, or Milwaukee Prepper. I'm going to most likely be posting that video that I watched. It was a pretty good setup of how this gentleman did it. Also, in a SHTF situation, obviously I would be running with my firearm, to protect my family, whatever you pretty much have to do, or hunting, and that's kind of a completely different kit. But I'll usually run with my chest rig, or I'm sorry, my plated vest, which has everything on there that I would need, as in for a medical kit, to drop bag, to magazines, and with a water bladder that's attached to the back of it. Hopefully I won't never have to use this, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. But that's pretty much everything I have. I also run in the top of it an empty haversack. When you set up camp and you want to go take a walk and explore, you can just take your little odds and ends with you. Throw your notepad in there instead of walking around with a 40+ pound pack. Now, like I've said in the beginning of the video, things will change, with this pack. I mean, when I started out, my packs used to be extremely heavy, and now it's been getting less and less, which is good because this way I can fit more food in there. Ideally, I want 7 days of food. And I'm not a big believer of, you'll hear people saying, oh, you can hunt and fish. Well, yeah, you can. No, I hunt. I didn't even get a deer this season. So you can imagine if you have to live outdoors and you're going to be depending on hunting. I mean, you can start pretty easy, So I'd rather have, food in there just in case. Now, yeah, fishing is a kind of completely different story, but when winter, I live in Wisconsin, when winter comes, and then everything's iced over. So hopefully this video kind of gives you an idea if you don't have a bag, and, if you do, you might want to add something, or, maybe even give me some suggestions. I mean, this is just the way that I run with it. I know I also run with a compass in the pocket and a headlamp, and also I have a handheld. So that's pretty much everything that I usually run with, and I also run with a boonie. I like running the boonies outdoors. It's better protection. So thanks for watching the video, and comment and subscribe. Either to my channel or my Facebook page, and thank you once again for watching.